Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 2023 Monster Mash. Yes, that's right. We have pitted similar monsters from the DC and Marvel corners against each other in a battle to the death. If they even can die, we will find out now. We thought this would be a fun Halloween video, so we just picked, I think, like 5 for this time, 5 matchups, but there's plenty more, I'm sure. So comment below your favorite DC or Marvel supernatural characters, and maybe we'll hit them up next time. But for now, we're going to jump into what we do have, and our first matchup is going to be Frankenstein from DC versus Frankenstein's monster from Marvel. And I would like to immediately elect a point to Marvel because they realize that it's the monster Frankenstein. The character's not actually called Frankenstein, so just saying. In reality, this is pretty simple. But go ahead.
Well, just saying, does your monster Frankenstein carry around the holy sword from the Archangel Michael?
Definitely not.
And it can reflect all attacks, and it is a holy weapon? Does your Frankenstein happen to carry anything that can even attempt to counter that?
No, but he can withstand impacts that would cripple or kill any ordinary human with only mild discomfort.
Ah, really? Oh man, that's so crazy. Did you know that DC's Frankenstein could actually survive his brain being completely obliterated? He actually had his head removed from his body and was still alive. And he's also the field leader of creature commandos. So extreme tactical thinking and incredibly intelligent. So eat
at
that.
his peak, he can lift about 10 tons.
Frankenstein has destroyed an entire Luftwaffe squadron within 5 minutes.
At his peak, he can exert himself for up to 24 hours before the buildup of fatigue toxins in his blood begins to impair him.
Oh, that's so cool. Frankenstein has no fatigue.
Just going back and forth.
Frankenstein has no fatigue. He actually can run endlessly and literally can run until he's physically unable to, aka his legs are like shot off.
Possesses a greater resistance against bullets than any ordinary human.
Oh, man. So he ripped Pandora's box out of Shazam's hands and then proceeded to pin Wonder Woman to the ground. They were going all out, so he's able to survive fights and punches with Shazam and Wonder Woman at the same time.
Vulnerable to extreme temperatures.
Literally, he's practically immortal, except for if you take huge chunks of his body off of him, which he needs replacements for.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same with Marvel, but...
Yeah, I think it's a pretty clear winner.
Yeah. This round will, of course, go to DC's Frankenstein.
Yes. Okay, next up. Now, this one is a pretty... I think me and you went back and forth on this one.
Yeah, this is kind of tough.
This is genuinely
to be
tough.
Honest. Of course, we have Swamp Thing versus Man Thing. Now, you did, I'm sure, extensive research on Swamp Thing. To me, this is just hard because they're both so strong. They both have, connection to all nature.
The green.
Well, I wasn't going to say, the green for Man Thing, because that's not a thing in Marvel. But
yeah.
they both have extreme connections to nature. You said that Swamp Thing can multiverse travel as well.
Yeah, he actually survived an entire planet being destroyed and literally just swapped over to a different universe because he was like, the anti-monitor, that's annoying. Yeah. And then he literally just deconstructed and reappeared in a different universe and was like, hey guys, just gonna warn you that the anti-monitor is coming.
Right.
Bye. and then he just dips.
So yeah, this is tough.
But I didn't include any like God Swamp Thing feats because I was like, I want base Swamp Thing. Like that's like a base feat. But there's like there's a version of Swamp Thing that's even crazier where he like literally supersedes the green. But I'm not counting that.
Okay. I wasn't sure because I thought we were doing like peak of each character. So I'm not sure. Like,
I mean, I just think that peak of Swamp Thing is just way too ridiculous. And also, it's like a one-time thing too. It's not even like a standard thing.
All right. So then we'll do average character performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Man-Thing, that I'm sure most viewers know is he's the protector of the Nexus of all realities. So he's able to travel and even summon people from different realities, different universes. He's seemingly omnipresent in the Nexus. If you approach him there, that's where he's strongest. One of the key few differences I noticed between Swamp Thing and Man-Thing is Man-Thing does have connection to animals. I know that in DC that's technically a different subsection. That's the red. So that was one difference that I noticed. Man-Thing does have a connection to animals. What else? He can speak the universal language, so he can communicate with any species, which might benefit him if he was to like call an army forth from the Nexus. If it's like a desperate battle that we're talking about. He can open portals to places he hasn't been as long as he sees an image of it. So, like, the only thing in my mind is if he was to be brought to DC, like, if he was to be brought to the universe forcibly by Swamp Thing or something, if he saw a picture or an image of some area that he thought would be damaging to Swamp Thing, like, let's say Apocalypse, maybe there would be a shot, but I genuinely am uncertain about this one. Because they're both so powerful and similar.
Jimmy Olsen just throws images of like random photos at him.
Yeah, if Man-Thing just goes to the Daily Bugle.
Every now and then he just comes back with a stack of photos. He's like, okay, I know this place now.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
So, I mean, literally it says that Swamp Thing cannot die as long as the green exists, and that means even if his entire body's destroyed, his consciousness still exists within the green.
I mean, so you'll see that.
Yeah,
you'll see Man-Thing do the same.
Yeah, but the thing is that in comparison to Man-Thing, Swamp Thing actually has the ability to control every kind of plant life in the entire universe at once, and he also has water, earth, air, and fire elements that he can control.
Fire?
Yeah, I know, right? I was also very surprised.
Why would he have fire control?
I didn't understand it either, but I guess it's because the 4 elements type of deal.
Yeah. I mean, the tough thing with like a hand-to-hand fight with Man-Thing is that he just regenerates from almost nothing. I mean, he is plant life. Like,
yeah.
I just don't. I don't know what keeps Man-Thing down, is my point. Like, because he's come back from so much. I mean, he, like, just most recently just, like, shrugs off, like, Hulk's, ripping him in half. Whatever the fuck. Like, I just don't know what can kill the Man-Thing completely and wholly.
Well, the thing is that, like, how much a Man-Thing is, like, how much of a soul does Man-Thing have?
So, supposedly, the only remaining humanity of him is his brain that's spread out in little cell areas amongst his torso and head. But, basically, his whole thing is that he's very perceptive of emotion. So, he doesn't need /use the brain that he has, he just is so attuned to emotions, so that's why he reacts so strongly to people being afraid, or if someone needs help. That's how he picks that up. He registers that. So there's not much human left in there. I guess is the whole point. If you go to his mindscape, which I think most recently they made the dreadscape, like where his consciousness resides, that's the only time you see him. But like his actual body itself, there's no flesh left in there. It's just from what research I found, it was just his brain.
So the reason why I ask is because Alec can actually manipulate the soul of living things. Like he has the ability to actually do that, and it includes his own soul too within that thing. Due to the fact that he is connected to the green, and all things are technically connected to the green, he can somehow manipulate the soul within that.
Okay.
So my question is, what stops Alec from just ripping out his soul?
Right. I mean, from what I found, there's not any human left in the man thing. But I don't know. But does
my question
does Alec
actually
have the ability to just revert to human form?
No, he can't.
So that was just
he is officially part of the green.
Right?
Yeah, he's forever part of the green. If the green gets destroyed, he's dead. That's or if he somehow gets his connection severed from the green, then he's dead. Those are the two main ways to kill him. My question, what I was going to ask was, what can stop Man-Thing's flames from just, to play a devil's advocate in this scenario?
I mean, but that's the thing is Man-Thing's flames wouldn't have any effect on Swamp Thing because he's probably not going to be afraid of him.
Fair.
So I mean, again, this becomes less of a hand-to-hand combat question and more of a larger question.
I think the only reason Swamp Thing wins, and you can obviously disagree with me, is solely because the green doesn't just revolve around the Earth, it revolves around the entire universe, and Swamp Thing repeatedly mentions that and has shown control over other planets. I think it kind of goes in his favor solely because he has more widespread control, and I feel like he could probably just straight up overwrite Man-Thing if he needed to.
I guess my only hesitancy with that is he could definitely call other versions of himself forth from the Nexus and create an army of himself. Fucking
so again, Swamp Thing. But he doesn't need to call different versions. He can just do it by himself.
Well, but you know what I mean. He can call from the Nexus to match whatever. If Swamp Thing's throwing stuff at him from different planets or realities, I mean, I'm sure he could match that. The one thing I will say about Man-Thing is there's just literally a lack of story written. There's a lack of amount of stories written about him. Swamp Thing has way more stories, way more well done stories, way more ongoing series than Man-Thing has had, and they've never showed his limits really, so that's kind of what makes this tough for me. I don't know.
I think I gotta settle that it goes to Swamp Thing, to be honest. I love Man-Thing, but yeah, I agree with you where it's it's just not enough story to back up his offense. His flame ability is really good, but like you said, we don't think that Alec would be afraid of him.
No, this would be a not hand-to-hand battle. This would be a a multiple reality battle. This would be them calling everything they have forth and just seeing who folds first. Yeah. And I mean, in my mind, Man-Thing is incredibly powerful, but just has a lack of stories written to him. So I don't know. I'd be curious to see what you guys in the comments think. But
comment below your thoughts.
We can give it to Swamp Thing just based on pure amount of stories that he has over Man-Thing.
Okay. Now,
but I wouldn't say I wouldn't doubt that he has the power. That's all I'm saying.
He has the power. Sorry, it was a very easy setup.
All right.
Next up, we got Mummies. I'll
be representing Encanto
versus Khaleesi. Khaleesi?
Is it Khalsis?
Khaleesi.
Khalsis?
Khalsis.
K-H... Yeah.
He is technically the second.
Khalsis the second.
But yeah, I think I should start first since mine is significantly shorter. There's not that much info about this character.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
He's a medic for Creature Commandos. His ability is basically that he has some Egyptian magic, an Eldritch Blast. He is also immortal due to being undead, so he can survive decapitation and stuff. He has this pretty cool staff that he fights with. But yeah, other than that, he doesn't really have that much other than the fact that he's like fought with the other Creature Commandos who have fought against the Justice League International. So that's probably their biggest feat. But like other than that, like he's pretty much solely like a medic person.
Right. Did you read Crypt of Shadows this year yet, or no?
No, I've not yet.
Okay.
You can spoil if
okay.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, because we haven't heard from Encanto in a while, I think this was kind of important for my argument that he showed up, because he was seemingly incinerated by an arcane blast from a witch, and she thought he was dead, and he just came back, like materialized out of nothing, like was seemingly fried and just rematerialized. So yeah, I would say he's also, very much immortal. He can use his raps as a weapon. He has a formula in his bloodstream that grants him superhuman attributes, so he's not just a decaying
He's not
mummy.
just a mummy.
He's not just a decaying mummy. He actually has...
He's a fucking super soldier mummy.
He's a super mummy. Yeah, I mean, let me see. What else?
That's kind of busted.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. He hasn't had a ton of stories, but basically from what I found in my research, every time he had a story, he was powered up a little bit. So he basically was the guardian of the Orb of Ra for some time, which basically removed his vulnerabilities that he did have, any weaknesses he did have. So it made him resistant to the fire and heat-based attacks. So can't burn him, can't blast him, I guess, is what they were doubling down on in Crypt of Shadows. Doesn't age, doesn't decompose, doesn't need food, water, or air.
Wait, so he doesn't decompose. What does he look like under the wraps?
Well, he doesn't decompose any further. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So, like, obviously he was a mummy. So
that's why I was wondering. I was like, wait, what?
He's still gonna look like a mummy, but
he just looks like a man wrapped in toilet paper.
Yeah. But yeah, he's not gonna decompose any further. A big one that I didn't realize is that he doesn't need food, water, or air. So seemingly he could survive in outer space. Oh, and he also gained the ability recently to draw souls from sentient beings. Yeah, so...
I think there's a clear winner here. And it's obviously...
And it's not Khalsis.
Yeah, it's not him. Encanto easily wins. Creature Commandos is cool, but yeah, this man's not going to be bandaging anyone anytime soon.
Yeah. Hooray, a point for Marvel.
Next up, we have Werewolf by Night and Wolfpack.
Wolfpack. Okay. Tell me a little bit about Wolfpack because I don't know much.
So there's not that much. He's also another member of Creature Commandos. But the cool thing about him is he's a faux werewolf, like a fake werewolf, almost like Michael Morbius type of deal, where he believed he had lycanthropy, I can never pronounce this disease.
Lycanthropy.
Lycanthropy, that's it. And so he got chosen to be selected for Project M. M stands for monster. Woo! And so he was chosen during World War II, and basically gave him wolf-like abilities. He can transform into what seems like a werewolf anytime, night or day, and he is an artificial one. So he doesn't have the exact same rules as a normal werewolf, but he does have two things. He has a weakness to silver, and he has a berserker rage. And originally he couldn't control his transformations exactly, but now he's obviously gained way more. But his biggest feat is even fighting on par with Justice League International while under the control of Maxwell Lord.
Okay. I was going to say it would be helpful if, because he doesn't behave exactly like a werewolf, that he wouldn't have a weakness to silver. But yeah.
Yeah, they gave him the weakness anyway.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
So
But yeah,
it was
both Jack and him have a weakness to silver.
So neither of them are going to be using this anytime soon.
Yeah. I don't think they would be bold enough to bring out any silver weapons if they knew that they were fighting each other, just in case they hurt themselves. So yeah, let me go down some Werewolf by Night stuff. So most recently in the Moon Knight series, he was confirmed to be the King of the Wolves, so seemingly has a large pack of werewolves at his command. He has regenerated from having his head blown off, which I completely forgot about, but back in the Deadpool series, apparently he was caught cheating. Well, Shikla was caught cheating on Deadpool with Jack.
Oh, shit.
And
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, and Deadpool just shot his head off.
Yeah, wow. I guess I never realized that was Jack.
Yeah.
I thought that was just a random monster.
But yeah, and he did regenerate from his head being blown off, which, yeah, was impressive. Retains his normal intellect at this point when he's in werewolf form. There's no more, beast, or I guess berserker rage that can cloud his judgment. Let's see. He can jump real high.
So can Wolfpack.
He's got superhuman reflexes.
Wow, so does Wolfpack.
He can see part of the infrared spectrum and can detect the heat signatures of objects or people in total darkness.
I'm pretty sure you can see in the dark, but I don't know about heat signatures.
Yeah.
or the infrared spectrum. That's a pretty unique.
Yeah, he's got real good smell. Apparently he can hear the sound of a heartbeat in a cave at the distance of 30 feet. Oh yeah, I thought this was funny. I don't know where they got this from. Can smell other living creatures within 100 feet when upwind and follow a scent over nearly any terrain.
When upwind, when the wind's going into his face.
Yeah. Can run through a lot of a lot of substances with his claws, including
I was going to say, it was like fabric. I was like, so can Wolfpack.
My mouth jumped ahead. Fabric, wood, cinder block, and even some metals. Had a thing with Elsa Bloodstone. So if he really needed to call backup, she's the one to kill monsters. Obviously, that's her thing. So yeah, I mean that's what I found in my research.
Yeah, I think this one kind of has to go to the King of Werewolves on this one.
Yeah, I hope we get more of that. We didn't get any of that in the Werewolf by Night special that they just released. But I would love Jed or someone to follow up on that, because that's kind of a big deal for Jack to have.
Yeah, like him being a king.
Him being the king of the werewolves. Like, I mean, that's supposedly all the werewolves are at his command. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So what are we at right now? Then we're at 2-2. Then right.
2-2. Yeah, we are tied.
Right, 2-2. Still 2 left, and these are interesting ones.
These are ones that I genuinely think it will be tight fights, to be honest.
Okay. I know nothing about I Vampire. Is that the name, really?
Yeah, that's actually his fucking name, which
Okay.
is so funny because he literally says the name I, comma, vampire. when like one hero asks him who he is, and it's like, and then that was the name of the book, so it was like I Zombie type of deal, I guess.
I guess that was a joke, right?
Yeah, it was like I Zombie, I Vampire. I don't know if they did a werewolf thing, but I didn't choose Dracula because there's not really a DC universe equivalent of Dracula that's still around.
Okay.
This is probably the closest, to be honest. He
'Cause I was
is
gonna
like the
ask.
king of the vampires.
Okay, I was gonna ask because I didn't recall any Dracula, like big Dracula figure in DC.
Yeah, they're just like Golden Age stuff, like nothing like
Right.
crazy.
Okay.
So, and
So
I
tell
didn't
me
want to
about
dig into
I
Golden Age.
Vampire.
So, I Vampire, pretty. I'm not gonna lie, he is really fucking stupidly busted. He can turn into a mist, a wolf, a bat, or a werewolf. Yeah, he can turn into werewolves
Same.
also. Wait, really?
I'm just gonna say same if there's something similar.
Okay.
Yes.
He is able to fight hundreds of vampires within minutes. Able to go through crowds of vampires easily. Kind of a Blade scenario where he just kills vampires unless he doesn't need to. And he can summon any weapons he wants out of nothing. Literally air. So he can literally summon stakes. That is like a major plot point, is that he can just create stakes out of fucking air, which makes no fucking sense. He can also knock out others in his mist form. He can feel the molecular disturbances in the air and pheromones and can smell magic. He can prevent vampires from healing. He was able to stop multiple vampires from regrowing their heads. And then he shrugged off an attack from Apollo, who, if you don't know, is the Wildstorm's version of Superman. During the day, by the way. So Apollo, who is a solar battery, during the day was able to shrug off an attack and then defeated him and Midnighter at the same time. Pretty...
Okay. Is that it?
No, there's more.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I just wanted your reaction to that.
Yeah.
He's much stronger than other vampires who, in the DC universe, they can all easily lift and throw cars. They're very, very powerful. He's learned Zatanna's backwards magic. He isn't as good at it as like Zatanna, but he knows how to make force fields, traps, and etc. He used to have a weakness, a very, very slight weakness to sunlight and holy weapons, but then he was resurrected by the Crystal One, and he literally doesn't have that work on him anymore. But even before then, Batman's anti-vampire equipment didn't do shit to him. So even when he did have that weakness, it didn't do anything to him. But yeah, so like after he got resurrected by the Crystal One, his regen became so strong that he can literally regen from random debris. How does that fucking work? I don't fucking know. And he's able to turn other vampires into dust and then reform them. He was able to basically take control from Kane. Kane in the DC universe is the father of all vampires, basically. And so he literally took control from the father of all vampires, turned all the vampires into dust, and then reformed them under him. He was even able to turn Mary, the Queen of Blood, who was like a vampire queen, into a statue and then just smash her. And then he can also turn vampires back into human by absorbing their darkness. And when he does, he actually goes bloodthirsty because of the amount of darkness. So, he's really fucking powerful.
Yeah. So, I mean, Marvel's Dracula just has a laundry list of abilities and feats as well. So I mean, I can go through those, but I think what I'll do instead is just kind of point out the differences that I noticed.
Okay.
So, one thing is he has an astral projection form that he can use. That was enough to defeat Doctor Strange's astral form, which I thought was surprising.
Huh.
Basically, he forced. This is a really cool moment. I thought he forced Doctor Strange out of his body using his hypnotism, and Stephen was like, "Okay, my only escape is through my astral form." So then he projects his astral form, and then Dracula just also projects his astral form, and then just wins that way. So I thought that was interesting. Let's see what else. Most recently, we saw that he not only has command of the Vampire Nation, but has I guess you would call it like a cabinet of historical people of power who are also vampires. You remember like that last page of the Vampire Nation special, like the one shot. So he has those people at his beck and call. Can regenerate from a skeletal state in just a few seconds. There were some other things in his regen that help him a little bit too, like if the tears or blood of a virgin are mixed with his ashes, he can heal quickly from that, or if his ashes are placed in a coffin filled with his native soil. It doesn't require oxygen, food, drink, enhanced senses, mist form as well. He's a master swordsman, so I know that he's a good hand-to-hand combatant. Really the only concern with iVampire is how do you kill him. So, I mean, Dracula can also command large armies of zombies and skeletons.
But can he stop someone from being a vampire, or like shut off their healing?
Shut off healing? I mean, I don't believe so.
Because that's like something he can do without touching you. That's the crazy thing. Like,
yeah,
someone else hurts them, and then he just like turns off their healing.
What I was gonna say is he has all sorts of mind manipulation abilities. So besides just the hypnotism, he can just induce paralysis very easily. He can make you feel pain that's not there.
He also has some hypnosis, but I don't think it's as strong as that. I believe
he can. Yeah, I mean, to me, he doesn't have like a ton of like recent power feats, I would say, but like the one that did stick out in my mind was the Doctor Strange instance, where he was strong enough to basically, take Steven out like that. But what I was going to say is he can erase your memories with his mind manipulation. So maybe there's some edge there over iVampire, as he could seemingly get into his mind and, I don't know, tell him he's not a vampire or some shit. Like, that's really the only
I would
thing
say
I could
yes,
think of.
If only that he didn't wrest control from the father of all vampires. Like he was able to overpower Kane.
Yeah, I mean that as a hyperbole, like make him forget he's a vampire. I just mean like maybe his mind abilities would do something.
Yeah.
I'm sure iVampire can do this as well, but Dracula has can command the souls of the dead and control them. So basically,
I actually don't think he can. That's actually funny. I don't think that's in here at all, that he can actually summon back the dead. Yeah, that's not something he actually can do.
So like the only thing I can think is that Dracula would just throw a shit ton of armies at him. So we're talking, undead souls, so I guess ghosts or something, zombies, skeletons, like just throw a lot at him and then maybe use that distraction to get into his mind, or astral project. I mean, astral projection has been known to be very powerful. Manipulate someone from outside their body, something that maybe they can't touch. I know that you said he has some magic, so maybe he could negate the astral thing.
Probably could, solely because Zatanna is one of the most powerful magic users within DC. But also, I just realized that after being resurrected, it says here that he gained the ability to make illusions, and he made two people hallucinate their heads blowing up. So similar to what you said for Dracula.
Oh, but it's like physical illusions.
No, like it makes them think that their heads are blowing up.
I mean, I think Dracula would be able to combat that simply because he is such a
Yeah,
master
that's
of
fair.
mind manipulation that wouldn't be a huge deal to him. Yes, it could, throw him off guard for a moment, but I don't think it would be enough to kill him. But yeah, I mean, really, it's just a matter of strategy here. They're both incredibly powerful. Dracula really, and he would. I mean, this is his whole character. Is he would throw armies of whoever. Just he doesn't really give a shit. He's pretty selfish, so he would be able to just throw whoever at iVampire. But he does have, pretty normal vampire weaknesses.
Yeah.
So that would really be the key thing, I think.
Unless he has like some item that can really like wipe out. His name is Andrew Bennett, by the way. I should have probably said his actual name at one point, so that you weren't saying "I Vampire" every single time.
Well, I mean, Dracula is just Vlad Dracula.
True.
That's his first name, Vlad. But yeah, I mean, that's really the only edge that I can notice here is that
I don't think Andrew strikes much fear into vampire hearts.
yeah, not really.
Andrew.
Andrew.
Or I mean, I Vampire also doesn't really strike that much fear, to be honest.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I know I shouldn't be arguing against my own character, but I guess I just don't want to sit here all day. But
yeah,
that's really the only. I mean, this is that's my proposed strategy. Dracula throws a shit ton of armies at him, and uses that subterfuge to get into his mind and shut him down somehow. I mean, maybe he can even paralyze him. Maybe yeah. Actually, let's go with that. He just tells him to stop. Just tells him to freeze. You did
the
say
only
that
the only reason I think the armies wouldn't work is solely because he was able to wrest control of other armies from the other Vampire King. But I think maybe the mind control could definitely work.
But he killed them.
No, he well,
you said from ash, like he resurrected them, right?
Well, yeah, like so. Basically, what he did is he wrested control. He turned them into ash and then resurrected them.
But
like he didn't physically kill them.
Sorry, what I meant to say is he had to kill the leader first.
No, he didn't. The leader was still there. Like he turned them against the leader. That was the thing. Cain was in charge of them, and Cain was like, "What are you going to do against this army?" And he was literally like, "They're my army now."
Oh, okay. But
yeah.
Did he kill the army first, or no? Because
I thought you said
he
the thing.
Resurrected them from ash or something. Didn't you say from
like,
ash?
So what he did is basically he wrested control from them, turned them into ash, and then re-brought them back up.
Oh.
To basically cleanse any damage that they had on their bodies.
Okay. I was just curious why he did that one part there. Okay. But yeah, so then I guess we're talking a mind battle.
Yeah, it really comes down to that, in my opinion.
Or I'm just trying to think, because I could definitely see him wresting control of like a zombie and skeleton army, but I'm less sure about like the souls thing. What did I say about the souls here? Yeah, command the souls of the dead. So if he's maybe able to come at him with more of a supernatural / magical army, maybe that could just stop him long enough for Dracula to get into his mind. That's my proposed strategy.
Yeah, it would be interesting to say the least, but
yeah, that's like
I think
one
solely
edge.
because there's more weaknesses for Dracula, it's just gonna come down to a war of attrition.
Yeah, I mean that's the one edge that I see him having over Andrew. But yeah, I mean, it's all about what circumstances are we talking about here, you know? Are they in, they're on, I guess we're assuming they're on neutral ground.
They're at Chernobyl.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know if Andrew has a place of power necessarily.
No, he doesn't. He just kind of wanders.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess that's the one major edge that I can think of. I mean, you said he has a loose understanding of Zatanna's spells.
Yeah, so he has like he knows how to do it. The thing is that he doesn't know any extremely complex spells like Zatanna does, but he knows how to make force fields, traps, gateways, etc. So like stuff that like your average magician would probably be able to conjure up within the DC universe.
Does Zatanna regularly conjure up an astral form of herself or no?
Yeah, no, actually there's a feat where she conjured up an astral form and literally ripped the comic book page. That was like a major plot point, was that she just ripped the page to end the fight. Okay. So she's probably one of the strongest like astral characters. Okay. And he's fought her and Madame Xanadu at the same time.
Uh-huh. Yeah, maybe that has some validity if Andrew doesn't have a lot of experience with astral projection itself. Again, I don't know what their fight was exactly between him.
Oh, apparently Andrew has the ability to freeze vampires in place too. He was able to freeze two warring armies.
Man is finding more stuff.
No, literally, I literally am. Look, bro, I mean, when it's a literal block of text, like, my eyes start glazing over. This is the one downside of, like, characters that have so many abilities, is that you see the block of text and you're just like, no, I ain't reading all that.
Okay, wait. There's two things. There's a few things actually that I didn't mention. Okay.
I'm
gonna have to pull out the stops now because, you know.
Definitely.
This is a close one. Genius intelligence can transform into all the stuff that you said, but he can also transform into a swarm of bats, so multiple bats.
Ooh, more targets for him to kill.
He can, or to distract him with. He can manipulate weather. So we're talking winds, we're talking thunderstorms.
I don't think he can do that.
He can manipulate animals as well. So not only is he throwing zombies and skeletons and dead souls at him, but he's throwing every animal in the forest. Just fucking sending them
cat,
to the slaughter.
Every small feeble animal.
Yep. that one extra guinea pig is gonna push him over the edge.
Fucking hell. Oh god.
Fuck yeah. I mean, yeah. Is he a good hand-to-hand combatant, Andrew?
Very good. To the point where he can fight like an entire army's worth of vampires just like by himself.
So then they're probably even on that side too.
Yeah, they make it a major point that like the vampires are so terrified of him that like they literally just he's the only reason why vampires are not like running over the entire world. And like they say, like, one of the characters says like he moves in an animalistic yet incredibly precise way because he's just killing them so fast and so efficiently.
Gotcha.
Like you're good when Batman is complimenting you. Like Batman's in the iVampire book and he's like, what the fuck is this guy? This motherfucker's way too strong.
What? So did he have his own book? Or
he had his own book. I know, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was called. It's literally called iVampire. I think it's only like 8 issues, I believe. It's drawn by one of those artists we really like.
And he just gets all this done in 8 issues, or?
Yeah. Well, he also had a pre-crisis version, but this is like the post-crisis.
Oh, okay. I mean,
so like there's the pre-crisis, which is more. Oh, so he had 24 issues actually.
Huh.
He had a whopping. Actually, wait, no.
This
he had
New
19.
New 52, yeah.
Yeah, no, this is New 52.
New 52,
He,
yeah.
Andrea Sorrentino was the artist.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that's why, the art is very recognizable.
Yeah, how have I never even seen this cover before? I'm kind of
No,
surprised.
these covers are crazy, honestly.
No, but I'm just surprised I've never seen this. This is definitely the right art for this kind of book, too.
No, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I guess we're talking mental battle.
Yeah, it really comes down to that, in my opinion. And the thing is that, like, what would Dracula even do if he did manage to overpower Andrew?
I mean, my proposal is just to freeze him long enough to kill him, like, in some way. I mean, he's strong in all sorts of ways. I mean, he could.
But like the thing is, like, how would you kill him? Because like that's the thing with Andrew. He can resurrect his body literally from debris.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what I don't know. Throw him into the sun, throw him into space. Like, I mean, that's kind of the level that he has to go to, and Dracula could do that.
I don't know if Andrew would stay still long enough for that, to be honest. Like, I mean, even if Dracula did get the upper hand, I don't think it would last long enough for him to devise a way to kill him.
No, he would already have to have it in mind. I'm just saying he's very strong, but like, he's strong in many ways. Is my point. Like, he's a master swordsman. He has astral projection. He has command over a lot of armies. Like,
but like,
there's a lot of ways that it works. It's just like,
what stops Andrew from just blitzing him and just immediately stabbing him? Because he can literally create weapons out of thin air. So like, you just make like a million stakes and just fucking shoot them at Dracula.
Right, and I guess that's where the armies come into play. I mean, it's like, the tough thing with these kind of battles in my mind is like, no matter how you write them, not no matter how you write them, it's a matter of like who strikes first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. Like, do they know about each other in advance? Like,
I think they would definitely know about each other solely because like they're both higher echelon like vampires.
I'm just saying, like, in this hypothetical scenario, do we establish that they know each other?
I feel like they would definitely have to, just because that's the way Dracula. Like, he wouldn't enter a fight without knowing who he's fighting against.
Where are they fighting? Yeah. I mean, that's the thing too, though, is if Dracula knew that he could just summon anything out of thin air, like, he has genius intellect supposedly, so he would be able to think of something. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get back to that, I mean, he literally learns his ton of magic by himself. Like, he's also incredibly smart.
Yeah, but is he a genius though?
Well, it says here that he's gifted
intellect
and a good leader.
Gifted.
So genius versus gifted. I don't know. How do we equate those?
He's in the gifted school program.
I got to give it to iVampire personally. I think.
Really? Okay.
I genuinely think that Andrew just fucking like yeah, even if he does have the armies, I don't think Dracula would be able to stop him long enough before he just like kills him. Because Dracula, the way Dracula gets mind control, I looked it up, was the best way he can do it is by biting him. That's like the best way he can perform mind control. That's what I just looked up. And so like, I don't think he could get close enough to do that.
I never heard of that.
At least that's what I saw in the thread. I like saw a thread where people were discussing iVampire versus Dracula. It was Dracula versus Andrew Bennett.
Source?
Also, Dracula's immortality apparently comes from the elder god of all dark magic, Cthon.
So that means his immortality is backed up by magic, then?
Yeah.
Ah.
By Cthon, yeah. And apparently in the Old Man Logan universe, he gets thrown into the sun, and he just keeps healing, and he just keeps rotating around the sun,
Sheesh.
which is such an awful way to live. But also, how the fuck is he still alive? I think Dracula wins. I really do. I think solely because like he really does just beat the fuck out of whoever's in front of him. Like even higher, quote unquote, higher echelon vampires, he's like, no, your army, mine.
Yeah.
And if Dracula has his own army turned against him,
It's definitely a problem. I've never heard of the biting thing because I feel like the mind thing would be his one edge over him.
yeah, I also never heard of the
Never heard of
biting
the
thing
biting
before this
thing.
thread. So I mean, it might be bullshit to be honest.
Well, I
but
mean, I think what they're trying to say is that if he transforms someone into a vampire, he can obviously like control them. But I don't like if that's what that's trying to say, then that's like not valid. He can paralyze you. He can make you feel pain that's not.
oh
existent.
no. So the point was, okay.
What?
So here's the source. There's an issue where Apocalypse gets mind controlled by Dracula because he gets bitten by Dracula,
Oh, okay.
and that was like a major point is that he controlled Apocalypse through that.
Gotcha. What I was gonna say is, he can cause paralysis. He can make you feel pain that's not there, and he can erase memories. Which I feel
Andrew
like
could also turn him into a
is not
statue.
what
He did that to his ex-girlfriend, who was the Queen of Blood.
Just that's it.
No, literally, it's so. No, this guy.
What? Just like looks at him and points.
Literally,
at him and turns into
yeah.
stone. Or?
Literally, they say he literally just looks at his girlfriend, turns her into a statue, and then he just punches through it. It's stupid how I haven't heard of this character before because honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, not probably stupid. It's probably very good I've never heard of this character before because he would be impossible to write a story around. He has like no weaknesses.
Right. Right.
Like you just can't kill this fucker.
Sorry, I should have stopped arguing this 20 minutes ago. I forgot this is DC we're talking about. All right, so this will go to Andrew Tate. Next up, final matchup. It's all right. Final matchup is Lucifer versus the One Below All.
You really wanted to go all out with this one.
Lucas proposed devils, and I was like, "Oh, Mephisto's a popular character," and then Lucas was like, "No, Lucifer's actually really busted." So
He's
the most powerful devil I could think to conjure up in this conversation is the One Below All. But yeah, I don't know much about Lucifer, so hit me.
So I'll start with this very, very, very simple feat. He literally tried to erase himself to commit suicide. He tried to erase himself from the Book of Destiny, which is a book that contains past, present, and future of all creation and includes every detail on everyone. Like, period. But he literally couldn't because as long as his dad was still alive, he has to exist. So literally he tries to erase himself by ripping out his existence. And he literally cannot because his dad is still alive.
So his dad just has to die. Someone just got to kill his dad?
Well, the thing is that also Lucifer and Michael are siblings. They're together are on par to be like their dad. But their dad is like twice as powerful as Lucifer. So it's like, and 2 times infinity is even bigger infinity, I guess.
Who's his dad then? Is his dad
Yahweh, Yahweh, God, the presence.
Oh, his dad's God, right? Okay.
Yeah, literally, his dad is God.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, but after, and that didn't even work because God did eventually leave. He retired. He dipped. He was like, "Okay, Lucifer, peace." And Lucifer was like, "I'm bored. I'm gonna make my own cosmos." And he literally creates his own cosmos and just like starts new life and shit. But even before that, him and Michael both created the DC multiverse. Like they straight up made the DC multiverse.
Oh, when?
Yeah.
When was that?
Literally at the beginning, before the beginning of time. That is the exact quote.
Oh,
Him and his brother worked together
but it's
and
been
literally
reset
spawned.
how many times now?
Wait, what?
But it's been reset and destroyed and rebuilt how many times now?
It's been altered. It's never been destroyed per se, other than
how many crises have there been? Is all I'm saying.
Been multiple, but like that's the point. Is like Lucifer doesn't really. Well, also Lucifer doesn't give a fuck. He just made it while he was still working for his dad. He never interfered after that because he was like, "Fuck you,
No, yeah,
Dad."
but I'm just saying that it's no longer his multiverse.
Well, no, he still can alter it. So it says here. Get ready for this long ass list of stuff he can manipulate. He can manipulate time, concepts, light. He literally controls the light at the very beginning of his own universe. Fire, electricity, chaos, matter, soul, size, dream, biological, sound, fear, blood, laws. Yeah, he can somehow manipulate laws, literally like the laws of like gravity and shit. Energy, void, life, and death.
All right.
And then he also
DC knows how to write boring characters. What can I say?
He also killed Adam with a single touch. Who is the first man? He literally can't be tied to fate because he's technically the one character that goes against God's plan. So like, literally, destiny and fate and like future sight and all that shit doesn't affect him at all.
Yeah.
He's literally a blind spot for like other gods. Like other gods cannot like predict what he's going to do.
All right. That's enough.
And then
That's enough.
wait, no. There's more. There's more.
That's
Okay,
enough.
one more.
Enough.
One more. This is really stupid. So I wanted to just mention this. It says here, limited causality manipulation. I'm just going to read it verbatim. The Titans ascended to godhood and became immune to all forms of power other than their own. To defeat them, Lucifer killed the Titans before they had ascended into godhood, therefore destroying the event of them ever becoming a god.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I mean, that just sounds like a complicated way to just say he stopped.
He killed them in their sleep.
Gods.
It's so fucking stupid.
All right, so for the viewers, I'll just let you guys know a few fun facts about the One Below All. I'm not even arguing anymore. I'm just presenting some stuff for you guys.
Some fun facts.
Some fun facts. So the One Below All, of course, first appeared in Immortal Hulk. If you guys haven't read that series already, you should. But he's my devil of choice, so I'm just gonna tell you a little bit about him. Puck has theorized that of all the demons claiming to be Satan he has encountered, the One Below All may be the definite article. So that's why I picked this devil from Marvel, because obviously there's a lot of underworlds, a lot of hells in Marvel, but I picked this one. The ultimate personification of destruction and hate. Obviously rules from the below place. I guess the real limit on his power is that he can only operate from the below place. He's never really been seen to leave there, but the whole thing with that is that he can influence people. So they don't just have to be, gamma mutates. They can be anyone who is connected to gamma energy in any way, which is how he was able to manipulate Brian Banner. Because Brian Banner seemingly did a lot of research and probably saw the green door, so that's how he was able to do that. But yeah, he's just kind of able to create chaos in humanity. Just subtly influence anybody and everything. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, with the Brian thing, he was able to manipulate Brian. Yeah, because he did catch a glimpse of the green door and the one below all, and then through that he was able to manipulate Bruce to become the Hulk. And so that was kind of the cool thing about Immortal to me, is like it rewrote his origin in an interesting way that didn't really change the course of his entire character. It was just like, this influence has been there the whole time.
This is just a pitch to read Immortal Hulk.
Yeah, man, that's it. So definitely stronger than Mephisto, they've stated. Even when he's restricted by the green doors, he can still be much more powerful than Mephisto. He can spawn entities called Clyphoth, which take on the appearance of people's loved ones and enemies. So that was kind of the I guess best way that he could influence or create subterfuge amongst non-gamma mutates. Let's see. Can manipulate the body of the vessel and give it supernatural abilities. So that he can warp reality. But yeah, I mean, it's just not as powerful as Lucifer. So
You see why I made you not choose Mephisto?
yeah, I guess. I guess it's not that it does much, but yeah. So this round,
I mean,
goes
it's
to
at least
Lucifer.
a little bit better of a fight than against Mephisto. Mephisto, he literally would have just looked at him. Mephisto would have shit himself.
Yeah, for sure. This has been the 2023 Monster Mash, where they couldn't get along and dance together, so they had to fight. Again,
Give us
comment
recommendations
below.
for next year.
Yeah, let us know some recommendations. I'm gonna go eat a bowl of Booberry or Frankenberry, just depending on whichever I feel more in the mood for when I walk up the stairs. Happy Halloween!